Damn, son, where'd you find this?
People don't be offended by the truth. They be offended because you called out the truth. Simple as that. They don't want to hear any other narrative that makes them look bad.
And one thing I can't stand at this big grown age is somebody who act like cause and effect does not exist. Like, yes, your actions caused this outcome. Yes, what you did lit the match. Like, why are you surprised and playing victim?
Guys, Chico, they never lied.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
Yo, 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 yo. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Happy Thursday, man. Peace and blessings. Glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. Good to be back. I hope all is well with everybody in attendance. Shout out to the comment section. Shout out to the people in the back. Shout out to the panel. Shout out to my poets, my writers, my content creators. You see the title. You know what we're about to get into this evening. Yeah. It's about to get a little dark, man. Some people not happy with what they said out their mouth. We gotta go down the rabbit hole. I got Zay in the building, man. I'm gonna bring him up here in a second. We about to get into this thing, man. Let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about this. Did you hear about the story, or are you just now finding out about it? Does it bother you? Do you care? I got the clips. It's roughly 6 minutes, so I'm gonna let it rock all the way through, just so that you get your own understanding of why people are angry. And then we're going to jump into it and break this thing down, man. So let me go ahead and bring my bro up here real quick. Hold up. Yo, 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 what up, what up?
What's up, man?
What's the word? What's the word? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energized for today's topic, man. How you doing today?
About the same, man. I turn on the internet and they never fail, man. It's always something. It's always another story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. Nowadays, there's so much negativity going around. So many comments being thrown around too. It's insane.
Yeah. Look, man, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this up on the big screen. I'm gonna let it rock out. Once it's done, we're just gonna jump into it. The initial thoughts, we'll bounce ideas and thoughts off each other and see where it goes. Sound good?
Yeah, man, sound good.
All right, let me get this up here real quick. Shout out to Arcon and shout out to the chef in the building. I see y'all, man. Let's go ahead and jump into this footage. So this is what got people angry. I want to know if I'm seeing this the same way as anybody else. You be the judge.
Ocho, Adin Ross drew criticism over the weekend after admitting on a live stream that he uses the N-word when listening to music. He said, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not fake. Whenever I listen to rap music, there are times I say it, but I'm not saying it on the stream. Like, I have rap songs before saying the N-word. I'm not a hoo-ha, and I'll tell you guys that. Then he doubled down. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure everyone effing says it. Let's be real here. Look, I ain't in his home. What he says, and when I'm sure there are a lot of other people of the opposite race that says that word when they're rapping songs. I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
And when you in your own home, now you might get fire slapped at you on the street talking, you know, you rapping that. That might be a different story.
Hey, if we were a fly on the wall in some of the homes of people and hear some of the things that they said, we'd be surprised. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm just saying people would be surprised. The fact that you have words where that word is used all the time and everybody raps it.
But why did he feel the need to share that? Okay, you do that. That's in the privacy of your own home. Why do you feel the need to share that?
He's a content creator. That's the whole point of what they do. They create content. They create controversy. They create turmoil, sharing everything. That's exactly we talking about it. That's their goal. And he's one of the better streamers, if I'm not mistaken, you know, in the world.
But you know they ain't got no problem saying those words that are offensive to black people. But there's some other words that's offensive to other people. They don't never utter those. You notice that, Ocho?
Like what? Like the N-word?
Nah. I'm like I said, but there's some other words in chat. Y'all know the words I'm talking about. That's another community. But they never say that. Why they don't rap those? Why aren't they rap songs? And it's the same thing with my people. Why don't y'all rap that other stuff? Mm-hmm.
Hey, which community? Hey, which community you talking about? Skittles?
Nah, because they'll say that too. They'll say something about the LGBTQ. They'll say something about that. They'll say something, but the chat know what I'm talking about.
Damn, now you got me lost too, boy. I only know about two communities.
Nah, this is the most powerful community in the world.
The Skittles community is the most powerful.
No, it's not. There's another country that has a white and blue flag with a star on it. No, it's not. It's not even close.
Oh, they own every damn thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, okay. I bet. Why don't he say something about derogatory about that? Why he don't rap that?
Oh,
he want to create content. You told me you're a content creator.
Hey,
create some content.
They own everything, boy. You hear me? Behind every boy. If you was to peel back the layers, yeah, man, I ain't gonna leave that alone.
That's all I'm saying. See, people don't have no problem saying that. But boy, that's neither here nor there. I'm just I let people, hey, do your thing. I don't know him. I'm not around him. Do you, bro? Do you?
Hey, honestly, little do you know, that's our competitor now.
Who?
Adin Ross, Kai, DDG. Because once we start filming our content out there going crazy, like we gonna outdo all of them. Yeah. Chat, y'all better get ready. Tell you.
Yeah. I get what you guys are saying. Say he's Jewish, but why don't he use that derogatory term? I mean, we speak to one another like that. Why don't he use that? Why don't he use that? That's all I'm saying. Everybody, look, no matter the community, there's a derogatory term that will describe said community. It doesn't matter the community, but there is a derogatory term. But it's funny how they pick and choose. It's always that word. Oh, it's just a word. So is that one.
Right.
And so is that one. And so is that one. But I find it funny, but nobody ever uses it. Huh. Interesting. I also find it interesting nobody ever put it in the song. They don't talk about it in the movies. They don't say none of that. How many times they use it in Django?
Oh my goodness, boy, Django, boy. Django was crazy, boy. Every two, if I had $1 for every time you heard it in Django.
I ain't got no problem. I love Django. Jamie Foxx was sensational.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable. Leonardo DiCaprio was great. The guy, what was the guy named?
Christoph Waltz.
Unbelievable. He was great in Inglourious Basterds also.
Yes.
I ain't got hey.
So apparently, there's a lot of people out there that's angry with that conversation. Adin Ross is a pretty well-known streamer. Everybody got their niche and their community that they gravitate towards. So clearly somebody liked what he does over there. He makes unnecessary posts about using the N-word. I would assume from my perspective that is just rage baiting and his way of triggering the algorithm to create a bunch of arguments and dissension within the internet. Then it turns to them taking his statement and then you basically heard it for yourself. Now people are upset and they want them to publicly apologize and all that. What's your thoughts on the video itself?
I feel like Shannon did, touch on some very important, statements, and he's right. They're not talked about enough. I don't think they're talked about at all. Like he said, I do agree with Shannon, but to a certain degree, I feel like someone in the comments said, I feel like if they really was that angry about it, they would do something about it, right? Instead of just speaking on it, just to get clout. No, that's why I'm getting it as. What do you think?
To be honest with you, I think they all using this just for clickbaiting, right? Because a lot of the conversations that Shannon Sharpe and Ocho speak on, they don't really get into these type of back and forths. He's usually interviewing other celebrities. Most of the conversations are controversial. They're meant to piss people off. They're meant to create a conversation, a loud one at that. How do you do that? You get people who folks tune into the most. You get them to speak on things that only they know about. And then you get a bunch of men and women who are scouring the internet, looking for drama, looking for things to really get upset about. And then now what you have done is ultimately triggered the algorithm to pay you attention. because you got something exclusive that nobody else has. As far as what they're speaking on, I get what he's saying. I don't know why anybody wouldn't be. First of all, I don't know why anybody would be upset with it. Chef and Arcana kind of spoke on this in the comment section. What's the big deal? Where's the lie at? We talk about the N word. We celebrate it. We see it in movies. We see it in music all day, every day. We see it in the comment section all day, every day. Nobody seems to have much of an issue plastering that term or that phrase everywhere they go. What's the big issue with using the word Jew or spick or any of these other phrases that are supposed to be negative? Why are people so uptight about those words, but you're not offended when someone gets called the N word?
Mm-hmm.
Those are my initial thoughts, though.
You know, as a rapper myself and an artist, you know, sometimes in my previous songs, I'm not gonna lie, I've used the word once or twice, but I decided, you know, as I progress, as I'm working on new music, saying that word is not, first of all, it's not always beneficial. Second, it's not always appropriate, because once you say that word, you kind of filtered yourself. Especially when rappers, you know, if you're an established rapper, you're an established artist, you know, you might get away with it. But there's still like, they still censor your songs if you use that word. So I feel like if you can't say it on TV, why are you saying it at all? Is what I'm saying.
All of these words in collective, they're meant to be offensive.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone to make the argument that it's cultural, well, explain to me how to use this word in a cultural sense as a benefit to a community. How is it endearing? So can I go to an interview and tell the person that I'm trying to get to hire me, what's up, my nigga? Or what's up, cracker? Hey, cracker, hey, huh, you honker, you wanna sign me for a 2-year deal and such. All right, can I do that? Can I go in there and say, what's up, wetback? You probably can't do that. You probably can't put that on your application or your resume either. Why? Because they know that is not good for their brand. It's not a good look for their company. It's going to create a lot of enemies within the establishments in the business world where they do all of this networking with other people that brings them revenue. The minute that there's any type of negative anything attached to something that could hurt their money, they're going to separate themselves from you immediately, or they're going to look at you like a liability and they're not going to want to do anything with you at all. So if the words in themselves can't be used in certain areas because of the ramifications behind the word, then why are we using them in general? Why do we use them anywhere? You're using them because you're trying to offend somebody in some type of way. You're using them because you know that it gets under people's skin.
That's the harsh reality of it.
Let me ask you a question. Based on the video, first of all, did you see anything or hear anything that would garner the anger of the community. That it says, all right, they legitimately offended the entire internet because of what they said. Like they must be canceled. You have to get them off of the camera. They must apologize because what they said was so dastardly and so damaging that we can't allow this to happen. Did you hear anything that would cause for the internet to riot against them?
Honestly, like I feel like the entire video they was just speaking their truth. Like I don't feel like they meant to offend anybody. They was just speaking the facts in a way that, like you said before, that might have brought thrills, or they literally just that's just how they feel. You know, like you can't fault someone for feeling how they feel. And I feel like a lot of people try to censor people's opinions just because they don't agree. But I really don't think there was anything in the video that really caused any harm. It was just speaking on the facts.
You know what my problem with these type of videos are? You got the entire internet angry and flustered with this right here. And if there was a legitimate reason to be offended by what they said, I'd understand it. But how are you offended by what they say, but you're not offended by a rapper who raps about hanging black people in his music? Why isn't he canceled? Why don't you have the same smoke for him? I did a reaction video a few weeks ago. I can't remember the dude's name. He a famous rapper. I think he's I don't know if he's 100% white, but he's a white rapper. And then one of his songs, he's basically saying we need to hang more N-words. We need to hang more of them. We should do it. Why not? What's the problem? But I don't see nobody canceling them. I don't see nobody in an uproar over that. That on top of this, how are you going to just pick and choose what you want to censor?
Mm-hmm.
So today, they need to apologize for that. But you have no problem allowing the content that we see randomly and regularly posted. You allow that to be constantly in rotation. The hypocrisy is real and it's crazy to me. If I say I agree with what Shannon Sharpe say, you don't hear a lot of music about Jewish people. You don't hear a lot of conversations about Jewish people. You don't hear a lot of it about this and that. You trying to protect the LGBT. You're trying to protect certain ethnicities. You cancel people. You get them kicked off of their platforms for speaking on this. But then when it come down to being negative towards your own race, it's cool. And to what you said, Chef, Shannon Sharpe and Ocho, as far as their football career and all that, y'all stamp forever. In terms of doing this right here, I do not think that they should be the ones speaking on it. Personally, I don't. I'm looking at it like this is just an opportunity for you to capitalize on a trend that is in rotation, but do you actually care about what this means to the community? Because most of your content is you talking to Monique, you talking to Cat Williams, you talking to Kevin Hart, you laughing and joking with Mike Epps and things of that nature. You're not sitting around talking about stuff like this on a daily basis. It don't come off genuine to me.
Cloud chasing energy.
Exactly. Let me ask you a question. Why is it that when celebrities speak on subjects like this, people listen and they see it as a urgency to rally together and form this fake coup of concern, but when it's other people having the same discussion, there's nobody around to be found?
Probably because of their image, you know, what they built, especially Shannon Sharpe, you know, he has a long journey, you know, so like it took him a minute to get that influence, you know. So like once you got it, they take advantage of it and they hit certain topics. But I feel like I don't know relatability maybe in a way. I don't know.
It was something that Arcana had said in an earlier post. I just scrolled back. Where is it? All right, put it this way. Most of the people that are here, they're here to make money. You can love doing this, but you want to make money off of it. You don't just want to be sitting here for 8-9 hours a day and you ain't bringing nothing in. But also, you understand as a content creator that there's a responsibility that you have. And you said something about this the other day. When you're in this seat or wherever you are in this world, on your phone, on a plane, on a beach, I don't care where you at. If you got a following or you have people who are watching you and you're doing this in whatever capacity, you have to understand the messages that you put out here will definitely affect others. They'll say they don't really gravitate to you or they don't listen to you or they don't respect. There are people who literally they itch. They're like Tyrone Biggs. They scratching for something. And you might be drawn to Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. You might be drawn to No Fugazi. You might be drawn to Shannon or DDG based on whatever it is that they put out there. You have a responsibility to be transparent, to be honest, to understand that the things that you are providing to the public will definitely have some type of effect on them. Now, getting to my point, Shannon Sharpe and Ocho, if you notice in Arcana, you alluded to it, they were being very, very careful with their words. Skittles, describing the color of the flags. They weren't trying to be direct with what they were actually talking about, because you already know how YouTube work. You can't say certain stuff. You can't even breathe the wrong way. They be on your ass. You like the guidelines here are petty as hell. So I could tell that they were really trying not to go there like they could have, because they don't want to lose out on the money, which is another reason why I think they kind of be on some other stuff. But I'm gonna use the mic.
No, what I wanted to touch up on it is the fact that it also starts, like, if you want the word to not be used as much, I feel like correction should be involved as well. Especially when it comes to other races. I feel like the moment you hear another race saying the word, correct them right then and there, so you don't have that issue in the long run.
But see, like, you can be out in the street and in public and say, "Hey, don't say that." That's cool, but that's not going to really stop nothing. What you got to really do, like, if y'all really have a problem with these words being so offensive, then why are you using it? Right? The teacher resigned from the school because she used some racial slurs towards students, and she knew she was wrong for it. There needs to be ramifications all across the board. If you got a problem with somebody saying Jew, then you got a problem with someone saying the N-word. Stop being selective with what you get bothered by, and stop putting certain terms on a pedestal like it's something to be proud of. Period. Calling your boyfriend a nigger is not something to be proud of. Oh, my nigga is this and my nigga. That's not nothing. No. I'm a grown adult. I am a male. I am a African American male. I am not a N-word. I'm not a Jew. That might be my race. Call me by what I am in the correct sense. Do not use these words that were actually meant to be derogatory towards me or anybody in general, all across the board.
And I think I saw a video that Loki was supposed to be funny, but I saw a video that said, our people saying the N-word is us reclaiming the power back. So what do you feel about that, particular view?
Taking up. I think that's ridiculous. The word itself is ridiculous. Just using it to me is just, for me personally, I'm not going to use it. Taking the power back. What power is that? You really want to take power back? Get your intellect up. Get your communities back together. Stop destroying the properties. Bring more generational wealth into them neighborhoods. Stop supporting music that makes people violent and overly sexual. Stop supporting content creators that do nothing but get up here on social media and start things just with the intentions on drawing revenue from your pain. The N-word is not something to be celebrated. It is nothing to be proud of. These people just looking at us and laughing at us. Why do you think there's certain folks that have more than other folks? Why do you think there's certain people who dress a certain way while we go out here and we got to compete with whoever wears what the best and all that crap. But they wearing the cheapest stuff in the world, saving money, stacking it in the bank, buying properties and all that, while we sitting over here on this, that, and the third, dependent on this, that, and the third. We don't even be supporting our own black businesses and all of that. Nah, I don't see nothing about that taking power back. How? Give me an example of how it takes power back. Show me how taking a negative word back from those who use the word, how does it benefit us? How does it put more money in my pocket? How does it get the graffiti off the walls? How does it get the crack out the playgrounds? How does this get people to stop shooting up birthday parties? How does that word get the men and women to stop fighting amongst each other? Show me how that takes the power back.
You're 100% correct, man.
I've heard it said that they know us better than we know ourselves. I'd argue that they know our history better than us, but they don't know us at all. I like that. I like that. How do you feel about what he just said? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
I agree, for sure. Because there's a reason why they kept our history out of the textbooks.
Yeah. It's so much information out here that's missing. We don't even know half of it. Like, I post things in my community post, and it's stuff that I haven't even heard of or seen before. And when I'm reading it, and I'm like, this really happened? For real? And it took this person to point it out. It took this Instagram channel to post it. There's men and women on IG and on Twitter right now that all they do is uncover things that happen within the black culture that we've never even heard of. We've never even spoken about. Things that we should be talking about, things that we should know about, that should get more attention, and it is not getting the attention that it should. So I'm reading your post, and when you say they know more about us, yeah, they know, and they try to hide it, and they bury it. They bury it underwater. They bury it under properties, and then we in 2025, most of us, we didn't get taught this in school. We didn't listen to our family when they tried to teach about some of this stuff. We kind of ignored it, or it's just now being discovered. But most of our generation and the generations to come, they don't have no knowledge of any of this. They're stuck on social media, the internet. That's a dope quote. Dope quote. Why do we celebrate a word that has never been, it's never done anything positive for us? And another question, why is it that we can sit here and have so much passion and angst and zeal to fight and argue amongst ourselves over the word, but not over the actual problem that the word presents? You, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna yield the mic. Y'all mad at Ocho and you're mad at Shannon. Who is it actually? Who's actually the ones that's mad at him? Is it us that's mad at him? I don't think it is. I really don't think it's us that's mad at him. Mm-hmm. I don't hate a single culture. I have nothing against a single one of them. The information is out here for us to assimilate, dissect, and then do with as we please. You can't deny the truth. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the information that is made public and available if you desire to go find out for yourself what's really out there. So if we know that Jews are some of the wealthiest people in the world and they control a lot of the things that we use, and we know that there are a lot of things out here in the community that is owned and operated by them and some other in-betweeners, where is the lies when we say, all right, we're going to talk about it and we're going to have a conversation on it? Why are you upset about it? Are you the mic?
I mean, I also feel like people get mad because it's a constant reminder of their negligence about that word. So like, since they have strong opinions about the word, but they in their daily life do not show the passion behind completely eliminating the word and what it represents. So when someone else uses it, it's a constant reminder of them not doing anything about it. If that makes sense.
If this was anybody else that had this conversation, would it get the same attention? Would it get the same aggression, the same feedback, the same, oh, I'm offended. How dare you say that? Would it get the same thing?
If it was an average Joe, probably not. But if it was someone higher than Shannon or Ocho Cinco, most likely. Because you do know, like, everyone knows that once the camera is on you, everything that you do is heightened. So like, the more power you get, the more your opinions are being watched. But the more average that you are, no one's gonna know what you're saying. No one's gonna really care about what you're saying unless that's your job to speak. But that's the harsh reality of it.
If words didn't have so much power, then why do these individuals in specific positions of power go out of their ways to silence it? I'm really asking the people, not just you, I'm just asking generally. If words didn't have power, then okay, why are all of these community guidelines set up to keep you from really saying what you want to say? Why would I get canceled or get fired for saying something that is factually evident? Why would you be so offended by me speaking on it on a podcast, but not offended by it being done in a studio? When Sexy Red and Cardi B and Glorilla and NBA Youngboy get in the mic and they start talking about splatting brains and selling drugs and this, that, and the third, why don't you censor and cancel all of the concerts? Why don't you destroy and close down all of their motion in general? If words were so insequent, If they didn't matter at all, then come on, man.
You know, like, let's be real. Like, I feel like, you know, when we're talking in a podcast, someone has to truly listen and be completely passionate about the topic to completely relate to what we're talking to. But with the music, I feel like it's easier to get away with because you make it sound good. You know, I always say tonality is everything. So once people read your tone, that changes your perspective about anything.
Definitely. We have a problem. Chef just said that's one of them. It's too many hypocrites. Way too many.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be offended by one person saying it, then you should be offended by everybody saying it. Period. And if it's not a problem, then let everybody who has a platform say what the hell they want to say without the fear of this happening and that happening. Words should never affect a person that much. Nobody is thinking about Shannon Sharpe and Ocho and what they said. They tried everything within there. What I saw in the video was them doing PR. They were doing whatever they could within in the limitations that are presented to them to say what they wanted to say without actually saying what they wanted to say, so they don't lose sponsors and they don't get demonetized because they are big platforms. They're rich, they're famous, they're connected to hundreds of different people across the world. So they have to walk on eggshells. That's what I got from that. And even with them walking on eggshells, like they weren't doing what we're doing. No, they were very they walked on thin ice. They were really walking on it. I didn't see how anybody got that much from it. Offensive dialogue that was so damaging to one or the other. Adin Ross is actually the one that y'all should be coming for. If you're really offended that much, then you need to start there with him rage baiting, because he knows, oh, I'm a white guy. If I say the N-word and I get in front of a camera and I start streaming to my audience and I say the N-word on the camera, it's going to piss people off. It's going to make them repost and share, and it's going to make them tell somebody to go watch what he just said. He just said he uses the N-word. And then you're going to look at what he did and you're going to say, oh, that white boy done said this cracker shit. And then you're going to have 10 people, 20 people, 30 people putting those clips in rotation. And then you're going to bring the audience over to him. And then you're going to have people that's going to clickbait and click farm and clip farm. They're going to take his clip, they're going to cut it up, they're going to remix it, they're going to add little memes to it, add little stickers, little fun stickers to it. And then they're going to put it on their channels so that they can generate money off of what he said. Because guess what? We so stupid, we can't understand that all of this is about channeling a audience over to him, putting money in his pocket. All of it is a design. But you're still going to support him. You're not going to cancel him, though, are you? You're not going to stop him. And, oh, don't get me started on Neon and Kai Sinai. we can definitely go there. I didn't already express my thoughts on Neon before and Casa. I think they're grifters too. They do the same things. They're no different.
You know, I watched this video on the radar, and they was doing like this freestyle for Mafia-thon, right? And pretty sure there was a white rapper on the show. He was freestyling, and I don't know if I was bugging or not, but I was listening real close, and I could have sworn he said the N-word. And Kai heard it too, but he didn't correct him because he was still freestyling. But I feel like I would have said something if I was him, to be honest. Even if he was freestyling. In the middle of the freestyle, I would have said something, to be honest. But that's just me.
Casa soul is soul. That's just my opinion. That man's soul is soul. He might have started out doing the groundwork, and I did see where he was, the before and after. He might have been in a horrible situation, but he went from that, got his success, and then these motherfuckers came to him, offered him something he couldn't refuse. He took it, and there's no going back. He's never, folks like him and Neon and them, they are not going to cross those boundaries. You're not going to have them sit down with a Farrakhan or someone that speaks about these type of egregious actions that happen in the nation and other countries. They're not going to have those discussions. That would go against everything that they make money off of. That would mean that they would have to change their audience. That would mean that they would have to sacrifice their audience. You start talking about Israel and you start talking about Judaism and all that other stuff that goes outside of you just and you yelling and running around in your house for 2 hours screaming at people, and you got chicks twerking and walking past the camera. Their audience, they're programmed for one thing. They're never going to speak on this type of stuff. And on top of that, they're making too much money to sit here and have these conversations with little old you and me. They're not going to do it. And I didn't expect Shannon Sharpe or Ocho to do it either. And even, like I said again, even with them saying what they said, I didn't see nothing that was so bad that they gotta apologize.
But mind you, Ocho Cinco said they're competitors. So some of the backlash that's coming from this could also be from their Adin Ross and Kai Cenat and the Jewish community. It could all be from that collective. Just to make sure Shannon or Ocho Cinco don't go up. Like I might look like I'm speaking in conspiracy, but let's be real, they're competitors, like they said. So like anything goes.
So do you think that this is them competing with Adin Ross versus actually working with them?
It could be. Especially with the industry that they're in, anything goes. Anything goes.
Yeah. I could see that. See the way that I'm looking at it, it's like you're doing what most of us do, or a majority, right? So a hot topic come out, and I know because I do it. A hot topic come out. You want to outdo the other person who spoke on it. So you might have someone who's great at editing videos, and they'll go into the time capsule and they'll pull up miscellaneous clips and then piece them all together to paint a picture and tell a story while you narrate to it. But then you have other people who don't need to do that. They have a group, they have a team that they can just sit down with, hella knowledgeable, have their own personal experiences with these situations, and they can just off the top of their head speak on this stuff. Then you have folks that just they do it solo and they can talk about it. But they take that one topic and then everybody covers that topic, and let's say we're all going to eat off of it. This is what the people want, whether it's positive or negative. So we're going to give them that. Now, here's the part where it gets competitive. Who can do it the best? Who can sustain this the longest? Because you might not gravitate towards my delivery. You might like their style. But the point is, everybody's going to eat off of this. So to me, it's like y'all helping each other out. Why does Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco need them? They're legends. They done did their thing in the NFL. They already got a name for themselves. What they need them for, right? Adin Ross was Shannon Sharpe before Adin Ross was Adin Ross, and Kaz and I. Them dudes was already established way before them. So why would they need them? To me, they're just eating off of the same plate that they're eating off of, and it's just getting spread around. But what you're trying to make it seem like is if, oh, we're offended by what they said because, well, that will help generate more viewership, ultimately drawing more traction over to the conversation that you had about it. Because now folks are curious. I want to know what they said. I want to know why they said what they said. I want to know what they're talking about, what they got going on over there. These what? Who's offended? Is it black people that's offended, or is it Jewish people that's offended, or is it the industry that's offended? I need to go over to their platform and watch this interview. Ching ching, ching ching, ching ching. Thank you, Adin Ross. Thank you for getting in front of the camera and using a word that most people pretend like they're offended by it, but they're not really offended by it because they use it every single day. Thank you for putting that racial slur out there to the public. We know you hang around black people all the time, brother. We know you in the mix with those freaky Diddy dudes. We know you've been out here living a spiritually wicked lifestyle. We know you in the mix with all that, but you're helping us by starting some BS up so that other people can eat off of it. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying too, Chef. Who can do it the best? Who can give you a better perception of the story? Who can create this monolith before your eyes better than the other person? Who can make you really think about what's going on here? Do you believe that this discussion was based on a urgency and a call to the people to take what's going on more serious, or was it just for entertainment purposes?
Most definitely entertainment purposes. Because if they really was passionate about it, they would go into more detail. The same way we're open about it and we're being as blunt as possible. And I understand, you know, they have to walk on eggshells, right? I understand that. But if you're really passionate about it, you would not care. You would still break those barriers, right? And you would still say what's right. And I understand the need to protect yourself. And I understand the need to just say what's on your mind. But let's be real, it didn't come off as genuine. It came off as, let me get this money.
I don't do this to compete with none of these people. I do this just because I enjoy it. And frankly, I don't like being controlled. I don't like restrictions. Don't tell me I can't speak on this or speak on that because it's why what's the point of having these platforms if you can't use them the way that you want to use them? You might agree or disagree with what I'm saying or whatever, but the fact of the matter is there's too many panhandlers and grifters. There's too many people doing things to appeal to a specific group of folks that are just one-sided in their thinking. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You can chastise me. I don't mind it. I have no issue with that. What I have an issue with is these tables where you have the cool kids, you have the quiet people, you have the artists, you have this here. Everybody is in different divisions, like we're still in high school. We're all adults. We should be moving more intellectually sound minded, but we're not. We're greedy, we're prideful, we're full of arrogance. And I understand this is somewhat competitive because you have a number of people that are doing the same thing. I know I ain't the only one doing this. I know that. I know I'm in an uphill battle. I can't sit here and pretend like there's not others who do things better than I do them in certain areas. I don't really care about all that. What I care about is the people that come here. They just get you being you being honest, you being sincere. Whether or not you're incorrect or you're correct, you're just being you. You're not trying to lie to the people and manipulate the people just so that you can get donations out of them and this, that, and the third. You just being authentic, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, what the fuck y'all talking about? Jewish people, they to me, they are smart. They're very smart with their money. They know their history. There's things that they have done over their history that has put them in the positions that they are. Most of us don't have the same information or knowledge. Otherwise, we would have applied it a long time ago, and then this right here would be a whole different discussion. What would you say to the public right now about these racial conversations, about the fact that they're upset and they are offended by what they said? What would you say to somebody moving forward to get them out of this mindset that everything has to be taken to heart? What would you say to somebody who is just easily offended by every single thing that you say.
I would say don't believe everything that you see. That's for starters. Because what could be said behind closed doors, or what could be said in public, doesn't mean is what they actually mean in behind closed doors, if that makes sense. You know, I feel like people just need to don't try to see yourself in the other person's shoes in that particular moment. Try to place yourself in I would say like just try to be content with yourself. Stop trying to be so sensitive. Everyone's so sensitive nowadays. Like they take things at face value. See past what the person is saying. Look for the signs. Stop taking things at face value. Stop being so sensitive. That's all I was trying to say. Stop being like this person said, Squish said, frugal people. Stop being so frugal. Stop gatekeeping. Stop being so greedy.
Chef said said fuck them all, huh? just let them all figure out the hard way. Spiritual warfare is real. A lot of this is demonic. Not all of it. A lot of it has demonic influence in it. And then we keep forgetting that a lot of these dudes and these women, man, they're under a different type of control when it comes to utilizing these platforms, right? Because I'm not going to get up here, spend 2 hours having women shaking their ass in front of a camera, or have Ray J crashing out, staring at me in the shower and all that weirdo stuff just for laughs and likes. A lot of this stuff is distraction. The real issue is, was anything that they said a lie? The real issue is why is it tolerated? You're more offended by the fact that it was said, but you're not acknowledging whether or not what they spoke on was accurate or not. The deeper rooted issue is, how come they have and we don't have? And when I say we, I'm not talking about you specifically, whoever is watching. I'm talking about the ones who are in the street taking their own life by going to jail and getting into wars and feuds and fighting over low income living men and women. I'm talking about dudes who crash out protecting houses that don't belong to them, properties that I'm talking about them. I'm talking about folks who have that poor man's mindset. Why do we keep on celebrating terms and phrases that don't make you, me, or the next person money? Everybody here should be networking. Everybody here should be fellowshipping. Everybody here should be making some type of revenue from their gifts and talents, but a lot of us aren't doing that. We would rather argue over something that's being sensationalized than actually attacking or addressing the actual facts within the context that is being put in front of us. Period.
But the harsh reality is, someone also mentioned in the comments, they're not gonna have this mindset. That's the problem. They're not gonna have this mindset. The way you're talking right now, you're speaking some real facts. But someone else that might be Adin Ross's fan, or Shannon Sharpe's fan, or Kai Cenat's fan, they will pick something from what you said and run with it and miss the entire point. And I can say that with 100% certainty because I've had that happen to me. They will pick certain things from what you say just so they don't hear your point.
Yeah, you're not going to reach everybody. I don't even expect that. I don't. It's unfortunate, but you can't really do nothing with that. What's that? A hardened heart, reprobate mind. You're too far gone. I'm only concerned in trying to reach specific folks that can actually hear what I'm saying. I don't need you to actually agree. You don't have to, but it's worth going back to your coworkers, and it's worth going back to your husband or your wife or your nieces and cousins and nephews and aunts. It's worth going back and saying, hey, man, we probably need to rethink how much time we waste on shit that don't really matter, and address and start targeting things that should be pushed in the forefront of all of these posts that we see on a regular basis. That's it. Is there like anything that you want to say to the people before we close out? Because I know we hit that mark, and I want to shout out everybody in the chat, Arcana, Chef, and everybody that's watching. I give you the floor to get your bars off, and we'll just wrap it up from there. But yeah.
Honestly, I said what I had to say for tonight. I might have got a little too passionate at the end, but I said what I got to say for tonight. I mean, I could just follow me on Instagram, if anything, at Roy Official Music, ROY Official Music. Follow me on Instagram. But honestly, about the topic, I just feel like we all have to tap into our subconscious, and we have to really truly think about the energy that you put out, especially when it comes to derogatory terms like the N-word, because we all know that got history behind it. No matter if it's our people or other races, there's history behind each derogatory term for each race. If you don't want to be insulted or offended, don't take the time out of your day to input that same energy to someone else. And I said this the other day on our last podcast. I said this before. I said, stop trying to offend people. That's basically what I said. And I want to end it at that. I'm just going to end it at that. Stop offending people. Think before you talk. Especially when it comes to the N-word. Stop saying the N-word. I know I'm gonna stop. Especially the next song that I'm writing right now. I'm trying my hardest not to say that word. It actually enhances your lyrical ability when you take that word out. So keep that in mind. There are ways around that word. You can make that point without it.
I agree. And you definitely got to be the change that you want to see. Be careful with these controversial stories, right? Dig a little deeper. There's always underlining issues that don't get addressed, and I don't see why anybody would be offended by what was discussed there. If anything, we don't talk about that stuff enough. Good show tonight. I appreciate you for tapping in. I appreciate everybody who pulled up for the show tonight. I'm glad they said what they said. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was when I initially heard about it. I really thought they really went in, but then I had to slow down. I'm like, man, nah. They make too much money. They're too popular. They're not going to say what we will say because that's going to cut into their checks. ESPN ain't going to want to deal with you. Them shoe deals, nope. Them clothing deals, nope. Them commercials, nope. You forget about it. You said this, you said that. Yeah. And why are you offended? You shouldn't be. If you're going to be offended by one thing, be offended by all of it. Because all of it is a problem. Every word, every phrase that is negatively used to describe a different race, all of it is an issue. Stop trying to make it seem like it's one thing when it's a collective problem. Tomorrow it's the open mic. We got a morning show tomorrow. Tap in if y'all available and free. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You know how to reach me if you need me. Peace.